Oh, there we go. There we go. There go the beautiful faces. What's going on, family?
Hey.
All right. I know y'all a little. Hey, my apologies once again. All right. Let me introduce from the Miss Diana Abrams. She's our therapist, our marriage and family therapist, straight out of San Francisco. How you doing, sister? We can't hear you. Do y'all got her muted?
I'm muted. Am I muted?
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I was saying thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have Mr. Leon Walker, an author of 5 books, a mentor, motivational speaker, and also he has a company, Inspire Each One and Reach One. All right, where he motivates people to become their better self. But he's also the main point of him tonight. He is a clinically diagnosed narcissist. All right. So we're gonna have him on speaking about his life, what he's been through, and how he's dealing with it. How you doing, Leon?
I'm good. Thank you all for having me. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. He also has a YouTube page, and this is where I first found him. He's one of the few out there that actually comes out there and speaks, how can I say, truth. You know what I mean? Because most people are not going to come out there and tell you they have this issue. All right? We're going to get back to, and also we have Miss Joy Mpazeni from Pink Girl Teachers, which is narcissistic abuse recovery, which uses psychological expertise with biblical principles. All right, she's a certified life coach and an author. How you doing, Miss Joy?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so what we want to do first, we're going to go to Ms. Diana, the therapist. Please give us the clinical definition of narcissism, because we all running around out here calling each other narcissists every 5 minutes. I just called this man a narcissist 2 seconds ago. Let us know what's going on.
It is and simply I'll just say, and your other guests could probably add more to it, but typically it's somebody that is grandiose, lack of empathy for others, and just a sense of not understanding the emotions of others and not being able to like regulate themselves without dysregulating somebody else. So a lot of times people with narcissism, their homes are chaotic. Wherever they go to work is chaotic. It's just like, if you can imagine a tornado, that's like maybe a good way to put it, of emotions and not being able to kind of see how their behavior affects others. So that's a very simplistic definition of it. And I mean, if we go deeper into it, there's other like levels of it, from like severe type to, but that's just a general definition of it. Okay. And it's one that people can understand.
Okay, so Mr. Leon Walker, it seems that you agree with her?
Right, 100%. 100%. That's probably the best I've heard it explained in the last 3 years I've been doing this. But yeah, she's correct. Yeah.
And so, Leon, I want to talk to you a little bit, because we spoke last week a little bit, and I asked you, I said, how did you even know to go to a doctor and get checked out? What was it that got you into the doctor's office and then them letting you know what you were suffering from?
So the good thing about me was the military. Civilian world, people don't just go and say, hey, in the military, we just don't just go and say, hey, there's something wrong with me. Especially for me, with my grandiose, overbearing type of outgoing, extremely social, high-functioning personality, where I was doing so well and I had to do so well that if I would volunteer to go see a psychiatrist, that meant that I had to stick to it once a week for an hour a day or an hour a day, and could be 2 years. So with me being successful in the military, unsuccessful in marriage, successful at cheating, lying, gaslighting, ghosting, I felt good about that.
Wow.
And like you said, narcissistic people or narcissists, that lack of empathy, there was nothing there as far as feeling any remorse for what I was doing wrong, because I did not want to relate to that, because it was too much like going back to my childhood and being punked, a little boy, a crybaby, and admitting defeat. So she's right about everything she said. The type of personality that it is, and in the military, you are held accountable if you don't go to therapy, if you don't go to anger management classes. So it all happened when I was getting my, actually it was an incident in the USS, on the USS Stark. When you get a chance, look up the USS Stark, 1987, there was an incident where 37 men were murdered, and I was on a ship to retrieve their bodies. But afterwards, we had to see a psychiatrist and decompress from that, and that's when it started for me. We had people in place to help us out, to guide us through, to process the trauma. For me, the trauma wasn't even there. I couldn't relate to those men being murdered. I didn't have any type of feelings or emotions, and I didn't connect to the death. And so I thought that was odd.
And real quick, so you saying when you had to go and retrieve those bodies, you didn't have any feeling whatsoever? Wow. All right.
Nope. And the key thing about that, when she mentioned grandiose, at that time it was like, hey, we get to go over and fight a fire. It was like the toughness and helping somebody survive. It was all about me doing what I could do to help those men. But by the time we got there, they were dead.
Right. That's some stuff. You got some. Oh, okay. All right. So let me move on to.
I wanted to add just one quick thing too. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to reiterate that like narcissism is one of those disorders that is not necessarily always frowned upon, and people tend not to get help for it because they don't seek it on their own. So it's just interesting that you were in a position. I've seen most of examples of this when I worked in the jails, where people were forced into therapy with me for doing some type of crime. But typically people don't walk into a therapist's office and says, hey, I'm struggling with this, because those are not symptoms that they necessarily want to change about themselves. So I just wanted to add that.
Right. Because to be honest, some of that stuff just seems manly, right? Mm-hmm. We would look at that as being a tough guy, but obviously there is some issue there as well, right? So Miss Joy, how are you again? You were a survivor of an ex-husband who was a narcissist, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. You want to talk about that, the abuse, and then your recovery and how that has affected you?
Well, the abuse was just terrible. I mean, it starts off like real small, slight things that they do to you, the constant belittling, the devaluing, just making you feel like you're the problem, even telling you that you're bipolar and putting things like that out there, playing mind games with you, until really he almost, took my life. Like, it was the kids that came in to save me. It was the kids that came in to call the police, and that's how he ended up going to jail. And then, we just ended up going our separate ways after that. Recovery was a process. It was a long journey. And it doesn't just, sometimes we focus on how it can be the intimate partner, but we had children. And to this day, it's been many years, our children are still recovering from it, from just how he abandoned them, how he never showed up in the relationship, how he never reaches out or says happy birthday or simple things like that to them, but will say it to me. And they don't even know that, but I know that there's no communication with the kids whatsoever. And partly because they themselves decided to go no contact. But I mean, it's all about him. Narcissists play many mind games. When this guy went off and started a family with somebody else, there was no reaching out to them, but he just sent pictures of his new family and said, "We're happy."
That's heavy. So, and let me ask you, was your ex-husband diagnosed, or were you basing it on what you saw clinically? Okay, he met these requisite things, and that's how come I know he's a narcissist.
He was not diagnosed at all, and even though I know that this is who his personality is, I don't seek out to go and say, I'm going to draw a comparison with the DSM-5 and what how he behaves. I'm examining the fruit of that relationship. What happened? What is the evidence versus what is emotional, and make my decisions from that.
Got it. Okay. So just going back to Diane, let me ask you something. I heard about and this is what I read, right? Idealization, devaluation, discard. What is that actually? Because that's one of the components, or few of the components of narcissism, where you can see, well, this person has done these things, maybe they're a narcissist, right? Because what we're trying to do is make sure we help the people that if they're in certain relationships, they'll be able to, notice these things and see them as red flags and be able to put something together and hopefully get some help.
What Joy said is a perfect example of just over time. Like, it doesn't start off typically bad, because the average person would run away, but it's almost kind of like a ritual of making you feel comfortable, getting to know you, learning your weaknesses and your strengths, and then picking away at your strengths and making sure like you're not having the power to leave. And it's like, it's almost like when there's like some type of I forget the term, but like when something attaches to you and starts to feed on you, and it'll feed on you and feed on you and feed on you until like there's nothing left. And at that point, either the person is destroyed or they move on. But what Joy described is real. Like, once they don't have control anymore and they know that they don't have access to certain things, then the typical narcissists lose interest if they can't be in a position where they can dominate you.
Right. Okay. Leon, how you feel about that? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Because what happens with Joy was that, and this happened to me, I became jealous of my wife's relationship with my sons because I was a weak man. I was a weak husband. And so what she probably dealt with was him doing that, and then he tries to hurt the kids through her, or hurt her through the kids, and then move on to another family and hurt her and the kids by having another family that he doesn't really even know or like.
Wow.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know or like, even if it's his own children.
Yeah, it don't matter, because with strong women like Joy, and I'm using her as not an example because we talk about marriage and family, though women like Joy are the prime candidates for narcissistic men or narcissists, because they want to see how they can take her from being a strong, loving, caring mom and wife to somebody that's broken and doesn't even want to go to work, doesn't even want to do her hair, don't want to put on lipstick or makeup, and it makes them look good and proud and strong because he broke down a mother, and then they try to steal the love and attention that she's getting from her sons and bring it to them, so it makes them feel good. But the main thing was to destroy her, and she was just trying to be a good mother and good wife. And that's a lot of times when men come from not having a good mom, they've been neglected, and they've been traumatized, so they decide to make themselves as person into who they think people would like or love. But it's not even like that. It doesn't wind up being that way, because we also go into like self-centeredness, become arrogant, cocky, bold, and then we try to make ourselves fit into a healthy relationship where it's not going to work that way.
Wow. So I mean, that's crazy. So Leon, let me ask you this: when you find out all this about yourself, you're running through, and this is, I'm saying this, right? Let's say you're running through different women. You're going from one to the next, right?
That happens, yes.
Right. So now that you're still seeing a therapist as well? Are you still currently under therapy at this point?
No, so what happens is I can go back at any time. Therapy is indefinite for narcissistic personality disorders. I will be in therapy. I can go. I have access to therapy for the rest of my life. And so when I have days like that are really bad or tough on me, and also what people don't talk about, I'm gonna do a video on this, but I have mood disorder too.
Right.
So that's a part of narcissism. Yeah, that's a part of it. And there's no pills for NPD. There are pills for mood disorder, which is called sertraline. But for NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, there's talk therapy. So a lot of people don't want to go and face the talk therapy because there's going to be some constructive criticism. There's going to be some homework. There's going to be some reflecting. There's going to be some crying, some trying. And so I was admitted as a intensive impaired patient. And when you hear things like that, so most people run away from it and they don't go back.
Right.
So I left therapy twice with a psychotherapist and a psychiatrist, and I went back, but I had to go back.
Damn. Diana, you want to speak to that a little bit in terms of mood disorders and how that's treated?
Well, that is another way that people with narcissistic personality disorder make it into therapy, is because they're a lot of times, like, they create so much chaos. Like, they might often end up in a hospital, like saying, "Oh, I'm going to harm myself," or presenting as very depressed or anxious, and that's how a lot of times this is identified secondary to some other type of like depression, bipolar, but oftentimes they do run together with other things.
So let me ask you this, Diana, in regards to, let's say, a person like Joy. It looks like she dropped off for a second. When she's coming for a person like her coming for therapy, how do you deal with that in regards to her, the children? How you deal with that?
That is the bulk of, like, the people that I see is recovering from being in relationships or having parents, which is a big deal, that are narcissistic. And it's essentially having to really talk to them, because they might come and say, "Oh, I have schizophrenia, I have bipolar, I have all these things." And then talking to them, you get a glimpse of, like, that is not necessarily the case. They've been through some trauma, but they're with a partner. This has happened many times where somebody might say, "Hey, my partner sent me off because they said that I have like narcissistic disorder, personality disorder." And then talking to them, you kind of get a glimpse of what's going on. And it's difficult. It's a lot of reestablishing boundaries, helping people to kind of get a sense of self. And it is hard to leave those relationships. Like, it is very hard, because the narcissistic person makes you feel like that you can never leave, or you don't even have your own sense of volition to do anything besides depend on them for everything. So it's difficult.
Wow. So Leon, how did you deal with your children once you found out with how did you deal with having your kids recover and your ex-wife and so on and so forth?
Well, they're all still recovering. Man, I'll tell you, this narcissistic personality disorder thing is like Diane. Everything Diane's saying is true. I'm not agreeing with her because she's a therapist, but she obviously knows what she's talking about, because I can relate to everything that she says. I've done everything. My children, I've said I was very verbally abusive. Like, the overt, grandiose types are very verbally abusive. Malignant are very verbally abusive. The coverts are very low-key abusive, but it's like a microaggression, right? Malignants are the type that can probably hurt or kill people, and they wind up becoming narcopaths, which is a narcissistic psychopath, right? I also have severe PTSD. A lot of narcissists have PTSD as well. So I had a lot of internal damage done because of my anger issues from my childhood. And so I didn't know how to be a father. And I became very verbally abusive to my children, because what and Diana knows is, when you start to abuse people, it feels good. I couldn't relate to, like, being having empathy because I hurt somebody, but I hurt them because they hurt me. So it was always an excuse to hurt someone, and you shouldn't have done it to me because that's what happens to you when you do things to me. So I became very verbally abusive to my children. I was jealous of my children's relationship with their mom because I didn't know how to be the dad, the loving, caring dad. I could buy my way through the relationship, but I wasn't the hugger and the talker and the communicator and the nurturer. I didn't know how to do those things.
All right. So when you say you had PTSD as a child, exactly what? Was it something abuse from your parents or just a feeling that you had? You know what I mean?
No, I meant to say I have severe PTSD, but I don't know if it's as a child, but I know it's from the military.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
My anger issues from my childhood is because I was molested and I was touched by my uncle and I was forced to watch porn at such a young age. So my anger issues as a child moved into my young adulthood and into my adulthood, but I never got any help until I was older, right? So I moved into my young adulthood with these addictions to porn, addictions to women, right? Wanting to hurt people, being angry. So my normal was abnormal. Most people are normal with not watching porn as a child. I lost my virginity at 8. Most people are normal with having their virginity until they're 18, 19, 20. But I was exposed to things far too early while my mind was still developing. And so hence, I wasn't going to become an empath or a nice person. I was developing these anger issues and these negative thoughts of suicide, of hurting people, of violence at a young age. So that's who I had become. And then I joined the military. And so I became successful with those negative thoughts and that negative energy and wanting to hurt people. But at the same time, I was successful. So that's one reason why a lot of them don't change. I had to mask who I really was as a child and then create this person that was the military man that was strong mentally, but I wasn't. I had to act my way through. And then I started believing it. And Diana noticed when you have this false sense of reality, where a lot of narcissists believe their lies because to not believe my lie, which means failure to me, which means imploding. Imploding means going back to my childhood, being bullied, being called stupid, being called dumb, being left behind, being forgotten about. I couldn't handle those things. So I had to create Leon, this powerful Navy guy, and that made me happy. Whether I was hurting anybody or not, they did not matter. And that's when we talk about the lack of empathy, because I couldn't relate to empathy because it was too much like losing to me. After I did everything I did to become this person, if I could do it, you could do it, and don't cry about it.
Not for everybody, but like abuse can destroy your empathy. And a lot of people who struggle with empathy and feeling for others have a history of trauma. Not always. This is not 100%. A lot of people get abused and they're able to just kind of like they're hurt, but they can still feel what others feel. But a lot of times when people talk about like this type of like lack of feeling and empathy, they've been horribly treated as children.
Wow. Hey, so you had a question? Okay. Because I think you were asking something about how it's being triggered. Is that what you said? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. So Leon, so let me ask you this. So now with your organization, what are you doing with that? Are you helping people with that same issue? Or are you going in to make sure to see, like, for instance, if they're molested or so on and so forth, that they don't wind up going in that route?
Well, I haven't done the molestation thing, but I have talks of as far as, and I know I trigger women. I'm sorry if I was the one to trigger Joy. I'm sorry, man, but I don't want to do that. And so I talk to people. So when I talk, it's so close to what they were going through with their husband or their father. Right. And so they see me, they hear my voice, and I can relate to their pain, I can relate to their past, I can relate to what they've gone through. It makes it too much real. It makes it too real for women to sit and hear me because they haven't processed some of the things that I've said. And it's like, wow, this guy's sitting and talking about himself and he's telling the truth. I wish my husband would do that. So I do a lot of the things that they wish their husband would do or wouldn't do, And so now I do the videos to help people. I do free phone calls, consultations as best as I can. It's a lot. and there's not many people talking about narcissism from a diagnosed perspective and saying, hey, this is who I was, this is who I am sorry, I'm trying to work on my behavior, I'm trying to do better. And it's not easy. It is not easy at all. But because when you have NPD, a lot of things go on that we don't talk about, but I try to share everything with people. I didn't fear anything. I didn't fear getting I didn't fear getting caught cheating. I didn't fear getting caught lying. I didn't fear anything because I knew that as long as I was doing good at my job, I could recover, or they would let me off the hook. And so I had no fear of consequences at all. So my way of helping people is talking about my life story, you know, how I recovered, how I've been in therapy for a long time, how I can go back to therapy, how I change my behaviors, how I have to try to my best to rewire my brain. But mainly, I found out why I acted the way that I acted, and not to blame my mother, but a lot of my ways come from my mother. 70% of men are narcissists and 30% of women. And they say black men are on the leading edge of being diagnosed. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say.
You know, it's funny you say that. I saw this doctor talking about that. He said that when he did, I guess, a narcissistic type of a survey, I just want to say, and he found that amongst black males, they were very, very confident. And he chalked that up to possibly being narcissistic because of everything what we've been through as a people, as far as slavery and so on and so forth, and being held back and the whole nine. Why were these people so confident? So he chalked it up as to borderline narcissism for most black males. Now, I don't know how true that is. That's probably just in his thought process. Like you said, that's close to what he basically was saying, you know. Ms. Diana, when you're dealing with these, I say victims of narcissistic abuse, right? Like we just had the sister Joy here. Looks like, you know. Go ahead. Oh, she had a power outage. Okay, somebody was trying to talk. Okay, I thought she did actually get triggered by that. I was like, wow, I didn't. Okay, because I was like, wow, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I thought, you know. But I'm sorry, Diana. Do you have these situations where it's very, very difficult for people to get over that kind of trauma when they know they were dealing with a narcissist per se? Like, to me, like, you know, once they know what they were dealing with, are they still traumatized for all this time moving forward?
It's really difficult to come out of it just because you have been broken down and then put back together again in such a way where it seems like, in my experience, people have a hard time, even with all the abuse they have suffered. It's hard for them to function without the help of the narcissistic person. And it's hard. Like, I'm talking about all different types of abuse that people have suffered, but they still find it sometimes really hard to escape because they don't know anything else. And so when people are ready to go and they understand, like, it's a lot of intensive weekly or bi-weekly therapy of just trying to, like, reestablish people's sense of self-esteem and, like, what's good about them, and having to unlearn a lot of behaviors, or like poor maladaptive coping is what we call it in therapy. But I just want to speak to something that you said earlier. Black men are overdiagnosed with severe mental illness just because of laziness and lack of awareness of cultural norms within the Black community. So a lot of times Black men are diagnosed with things like narcissism and schizophrenia and all kind of severe and, like, pushed into, like, certain categories. But a lot of times that can be, and not all the time, like, I don't have the exact numbers, but it can be treated as, like, post-traumatic stress disorder or depression, but it presents differently in us culturally, and people don't take that into account.
Right, because we see that also, like, in the school system, right? Where they'll say the kid has ADHD, the kid has this, has that. All of a sudden, he's in a certain program that they're getting funding for. So it's good to throw us in a box and say we have X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So you're right on that. So Leon, we know that you wrote. I noticed you wrote about 5 books. I know 3 of them are available. 2 of them are, you know, soon to come out. And I know you're working on another one, and we talked about that a little bit. So I saw you had one written on porn. and how to get away from that. And that's a big thing, right? So a little bit about us. We're a biblically based organization, right? And that's a big thing. Porn. How to get people to stop watching porn, because people get caught up in that and it's very addictive, right? So when I saw that book, I said, man, there's a few people that might want to read that book. And get their mind right. You know what I mean? And sometimes we got to bring levity to the situation. I see you, Miss Diana. You know, I know this is a serious topic, but we bring a little levity to it, because that's how we're going to wind up getting ourselves out of it, right? We have to, and that's the great thing that I saw about when I first saw Leon in his videos. I just stumbled upon it. Because again, I'm a guy that, and I'm pretty sure these guys as well, mental health, you tell me about mental health, that didn't make sense to me. That just sounded like somebody just wants some attention. You know what I mean? I had no feelings towards it one way or the other. But as I started to get older, you start to meet a bunch of different people, and then you realize, and then you hear about situations, or you might be in a situation yourself, and you say, wait a minute, this is not normal. Like, this is very strange, even for us. You know what I'm saying? We grew up in different neighborhoods where let's be honest, we know gangsters, we know all type of people, but these certain behaviors are just strange. And then you start to understand what this stuff is, and you have to show it respect to it. You know what I mean? And we have a lot of people within our congregation who are psychology majors and so on and so forth. And they said, hey, sometimes you got to go see that doctor. You got to go lay on somebody's couch. You got to go have that conversation.
Can y'all hear me good? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, I know we don't want to get too much into the Bible. I do want to get one scripture real quick, because when we talk about mental health, we talk about mental issues,
right?
Whether it's narcissism, post-traumatic stress disorder. The Bible says something crazy. Real quick.
All right.
25 and 13.
Go ahead.
Can you read that? 25 and 13.
Sirach chapter 25 and verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart.
So there we go. My mic was off. All right. So again, I know we like you said, we a biblical organization, but we really want to, use this platform to, dialogue with our people and come up with solutions to a lot of these issues that we be having. But the Bible do say something heavy about that thing with the mind. Watch, go ahead.
Give me any plague but the plague of the heart.
It say, give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Come on.
And any wickedness but the wickedness of a
woman.
woman.
And what it's saying is, when the Bible say heart, it's saying mind.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because when it say, give me any plague but the plague of the mind, because if the plague of the mind is something that is really hard to recover from. You see what I'm saying? Because you'll be caught up in your own solutions. And your solutions is not reality based. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the narcissist, he's self-centered. He's not worried about everybody else's emotions. Yeah, I'm happy, but how is that affecting everybody else? Your mind be so toe up, you tear up your whole environment, your whole household, your whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what he was bringing out. Oh man. And like I said, I found it was just incredible that the brother came out and just put himself out there like that.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I said, man, you know what? We need to bring that here so people can see that and recognize in themselves, because guess what? There's a lot of people suffering from this, right? And maybe they know it, maybe they don't. But the key to this is, we got a man right here that has been diagnosed, and he's out there. He's saying, hey, there's help out there. We got a doctor right here. There's nothing wrong with going to the doctor. And let me tell you something. Sometimes when we in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, you might be in a church or whatever, you might think that a doctor is not the way to go. You know what I'm saying? You might think that, but the doctor is the way to go. And real quick, I'm just going to read something to y'all real quick, and we're going to jump right back. All right. Just want to give y'all something, give me Sirach 30. 30 and 1. I'm sorry, 30, 38.
30 and verse 38.
Yeah. You know what I want?
38 and 1.
1.
Sirach chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him.
Right. So the Bible says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him. So I know, Miss Diana, I know you don't consider yourself doctor, but we calling you a doctor because you helping people, right? Go ahead.
Honor a physician with the honor due unto him, for the uses which ye may have of him.
Right.
For the Lord hath created him.
Right. For the Lord created that doctor. So for people who watching, there's nothing wrong with going to a doctor, getting yourself checked out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like you get your heart checked, you get your liver checked and bones and all that. You got to get your mind checked. if you're having that type of issue, if you know something's going on, or you spouses out there, and you know that your husband or wife is dealing with something, it's going to be difficult because as Leon said, he went due to the fact that he had to go due to that situation with the USS Stark, and then they wound up you had to go, and that's how you found out. But guess what? Sometimes we got to pressure each other and make this thing happen, So, Miss Diana, let me ask you this. What is, because I've heard this, and we know we'll ask Leon the same thing, but I've heard that there's no way for this to be cured, right? Is that accurate? Or is that just some other, like a wives' tale or something like that?
I think if you're talking about psychopathy, which is something completely different, there's no cure for that.
Okay.
But I would say that there is an ability to get an understanding of how you've harmed people and trying not to do those behaviors. I can't speak to how people feel, or I can't say if you ever have that intense empathy, but you can say, hey, like, I'm in jail now, like, maybe I should stop stealing. And then if you're open to that, then we can talk about, like, oh, it's about impulse control and just learning when these behaviors stop working for you. That's when I see people, when the behaviors no longer serve them. Like, people don't think you're a good guy anymore. Your wife or your a husband or whoever left you. And it's letting people know this is why you're in such trouble. And let's talk about how you can decrease these behaviors. And I think that's about as best of any of us can do, probably. Just change our behavior.
So, Leon, what you think about that?
Yep, and I mentioned it earlier, changing my behavior, understanding how I was affecting other people. Because when I was so successful in the military, I didn't think I had to change my behavior. So I was able to blame the military for my actions, but at the same time, I was being awarded for bad behavior. Yeah, and so then I get promoted, then I get awarded, then I get rewarded, then I get ranked #1, then I won Sailor of the Year. I was always winning, but it was at other people's expense too, and I just never connected with that. And she's right, 100%. My behaviors, and so then now I went years without going to church, without believing in God. I went years without seeing a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist. I went years without wanting to hug and hold hands. I went years without saying I love you. But guess what? I didn't care about not having any of that in my life. Why? Because it was about my ego. My ego was huge and it was satisfied. And the moment I walk into my second psychotherapist session, I didn't like her, so I disrespected her by ignoring. Yeah. And then the second psychiatrist, she's a white lady, but she was top heavy. So I stared at her cleavage just to be disrespectful.
Wait a minute. Wait. So you went in there and you pressed buttons. So you on purpose, you purposefully did that so she would recognize that and say, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and so we do it to our wives. Men, you know how to push the buttons. I knew that there was something wrong with me, but I didn't want to face that there was something possibly wrong with me.
Right.
Now, I was already in the military. Before I went in, they told me my mother was crazy. So when I hear narcissism personality disorder, when I hear severe PTSD, anxiety, depression, and mood disorder, you think I'm thinking I'm crazy too. Right. So instead of thinking that and listening to that and believing a psychotherapist, I go back to work to be more successful. So I was really good at suppressing things. And so, yeah, I just didn't want to be sitting down an hour a week, an hour. Sometimes it was an hour and a half for me. Sometimes it was 2 hours in that office. Because in the military, we can go as much as we want. But that's when I started feeling better about going. She told me, I walked in there and said, you don't have to be a big bad leader in here. You don't have to come in here huffing and puffing in my office. And I was like, nobody ever said that to me. Right. So I was able to let my guard down. I was able to listen. And like Diana said, I started to work on changing my behaviors, how I saw others, how I saw myself. I would never apologize.
Right.
Ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But being that you did say to yourself, okay, what was that switch? Because that's still a big thing. For you to say you had to change your behavior, what did the therapist tell you to make you say, damn, I'm a foul dude? Or did you know you were a foul guy and just appreciated that you were a foul guy? If you can understand what I'm saying.
Well, I didn't even. I wouldn't call myself a name.
Right.
I would say that I had a hard time associating with anything negative wrong with my personality. I had a very hard time saying that. And so when we started, she said, well, you need to be enrolled in intensive inpatient care. And I looked at her like she was crazy. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that sounds like military, hospitalized. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, but right. And so, but with me, little things started happening to me. I had a heart attack in 2013. I was losing teeth. I wasn't doing so good at work. I was gaining weight. My cholesterol was up. I was smoking cigarettes. I was drinking more. It was just I was just tired, and so it felt like I could not escape. So I said, you know what? Let me see if I can be a better person. I'm already a great person in the military, so I was priding myself on that. But I wasn't a great father or a great husband. So I said, you know what? Is there anything I can do better to relate to what's really going on with my family, what's really going on with me? And like Diana said, how can I change my behaviors? I was so used to being a negative person. I was so used to being happy but abnormal. I thought maybe I can be happier being normal by discussing my life with a psychotherapist, social worker, psychiatrist, all of that. I was ready to make some changes, some exchanges. But before that, like Diana said, I wasn't thinking about changing my behavior. So when I started talking to somebody and I was really willing to open up to somebody that would listen and not give me constructive criticism or judge me, that's when the changes started for me.
Excellent. No, it's good to see that you. I would say the road to recovery, right? Because you still.
Yeah. So like with Diana, she's a therapist that she's approachable, and I don't even know her, but I can tell by the way she's explaining things that she could be. Like in my mind, she's my friend, right? If she was my therapist, I would want to go to her because it's like I feel bad. I feel good because she's not gonna judge me. She's not gonna put me down, right? But it's not just because she's a therapist. I genuinely would think and feel that she cares.
Right. So Diana, are you that type? Are you not? Because I know some therapists, they don't. I know it's like a business. Not to say you don't care, right? But I know it's a business. You probably try not to connect to the point of like getting emotions involved, right? Sort of like I could say like an oncologist. They see so many patients all the time, and somebody's gonna die. They don't want to, they're pretty cold. But Leon is saying that he thinks you're a warm one. So is that how you're doing it? Do you connect to your patients like that and create these?
I will say like boundaries is what they teach us in therapy school. Like you have to have good boundaries, meaning that I always tell people I'm friendly, but I'm not your friend. Like I can be warm, but I'm not like your mom or your aunt. But I think you don't want to go to somebody who you get a sense that they don't care about you. I care about people. I really do. And I think that's conveyed in how I treat people, but it never rises above what we call a clinical relationship, meaning that you have to keep it really professional because it's people emotions involved and people with dysregulation. You never want to give them the wrong impression. Like it's always good to just be ethical, be clear and correct, but also in that you can also be very caring, which I think that I try to be.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm not going to keep y'all too much longer. I want to say thank you for coming on. This was great for us in terms of information. We've never heard it quite like this, especially from a person like yourself, Mr. Leon Walker. You know what I mean? Like I said, I watched your videos, but it's different when you're actually talking to, you know what I mean? And all praises to the Lord, man. You came on and you really helped us with this, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Hey, before they right before you guys leave, you guys know that we are biblical based. You know what I'm saying? So like everything you guys been talking about with us, we can read in the Bible because God knows what he made.
That's
right. You know what I'm saying? He knows exactly what he made. So when we can't understand something like why am I feeling like this or why am I acting like this, we'll put a name on it like ADHD, or we'll put a name on it like narcissistic disorder. But these are the same spirits that God told us about right from the beginning. So one thing that as far as if we could rationalize something, it's like, man, narcissistic disorder probably can't be cured, right? But when I go to 2 Ezra 7:49, I think that's what it is. Let me see real quick. Cure with his word.
Yeah, 69.
69. Watch this. And I'll give y'all an example how it because we all is narcissistic disorder any worse than PTSD, or it's they all mental disorders, you know what I'm saying? So and we all have to change from those things based upon whatever voices in our head telling us that we right, and the way we move based upon what's tangible and what we've seen growing up to get us where we are. We all have to change at some point. Maybe your change point is a traumatic event, or your change point could be something that you read and realize I thought that this was good, but it was bad. So watch this.
2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 69. It's on. Test. 2 Ezra chapter 7 verse 69. And being judge, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word.
So guess what? We cured by his word, right? So let's say, for instance, the God in my head is the one in this Bible. Okay. So all my life growing up, I thought fighting my brother was good. But then what cures me is when I find out that I gotta love my brother as myself. So I used to think something was right, but I found that everything I thought I was doing was right at some point.
Sure.
Until I looked at, I have to measure myself up to something. And if you measuring yourself up to your own mind, you're always going to counsel yourself to please your own self. Right. So that's kind of what it sounds like, right? Hey, I thought I was doing something good. I was successful in this. I was successful in that. But what were you measuring your success upon? You know what I'm saying? It's just all the voice in our head saying, hey, look, this is happening. This is what you need to do. And we going for it. Nobody can tell me that I'm right or wrong except a higher power than myself. And it has to be a God to tell me what I was doing was wrong. Right. Proverbs 21:2. Real quick. Watch this. So these things help. We because we are biblical based. We biblical based, and the same thing that like we can classify it as PTSD. We can classify it as narcissistic disorder, but they just spirits. They just spirits that God classified and named way before the terms.
And let me add that, because when I was speaking to Leon last week, we had a little laugh about it, right. But he said there was a sister that said, hey, a narcissist, they do voodoo. And Leon said, yo, I'm a black man in America. How I'm doing voodoo, right? So we had a little joke about it. But the thing about it is that everything is spiritual, right? Everything has a spirit to it, whether it's a tree, right? A tree got life. Everything in this world got a spirit. So us as well, we got different spirits. I think that's probably what that sister might have been trying to say. Maybe she just came out and said voodoo because she's trying to say it's something wicked, Right. Well, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, let me get that. Proverbs 21:2.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 2. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes.
So wouldn't you say that's pretty accurate to what God said? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I didn't see anything I was doing was wrong. I like what I was doing. But God said 3,000 years ago, every man is like that. We think that the way we moving is right in our own eyes. So from your perspective, how you seeing it, you were moving right. So and I understood that when you said, when they told you to go to the doctor, you was like, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way I need that. That sounds crazy. But God told us 3,000 years ago, every man think like the way that that he see things is right in his own eyes. Now I see things based upon the neighborhood I grew up in, right? Like you said, there was a traumatic event, maybe something that happened in your past. 8 years old, losing virginity. That's something that knock you off your natural course. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna make you a little bit different from anybody else. But then when you read in the Bible, say, you know what? That's happening to everybody. Everybody. Nobody's trauma is either more or less than anybody. Everybody dealing with something. So the main goal for the Most High is to get us back on His program, right? What is it? You take a lion from the jungle, right, and you raise him in the zoo. Okay, he don't know nothing about hunting, but some reason he got anger issues. He want to bite something. You know what I'm saying? It's just in his nature, Right. He don't know nothing about hunting. Somebody been feeding him his food all this time. But guess what? He been raised from birth in his environment, and now he'll jump through the hoop for the zookeeper.
Right.
He won't bite the zookeeper. You know what I'm saying? He's just going all against his nature. Our nature is biblical. You know what I'm saying? And we've been taken away from it in slavery, right? That's part of our narcissistic trauma. You know what I'm saying? What we went through? Jim Crow,
Black codes.
Black codes. We've been through a lot. Black people been through a lot.
13th Amendment.
Right.
Narcissism is etched in that. How they say the DNA is etched in there.
Yeah. They say trauma passed through generations.
Right.
And my great grandmother who was raped in front of her children. You know what I'm saying? My great grandmother who was raped in front of her children. She's gonna pass that trauma down to her son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's gonna teach her son to be fearful. You know, even though he got a strong body, you read that about like in the Willie Lynch letters. Trauma is passed down from generation to generation, and we've had so many generations of trauma without any therapy. You know what I'm saying? And the therapy been here from the beginning, but we haven't had any therapy. So now you got very strong women, as far as mentally strong women, but weak bodies. Right. But we got physically strong men, but weak minds. We don't understand what's going on because we're going through generation after generation after generation of the trauma. And this is the fix.
Yep.
Right.
It's a scripture that comes to mind when you talk about the fix real quick. If I can get one scripture, it's Psalms 4:4. Because my mic was on.
Take this mic right here.
So I gotta talk in the mic. So it's a scripture that comes to mind when it comes to that. Give me Psalms 4:4 and read that real quick.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 4 and verse 4. Stand in awe and sin not.
So the Bible says, stand in awe and don't do nothing against my law. Come on.
Commune with your own heart upon your bed.
He said, commune with your own heart upon your bed. Go ahead.
And be still.
Meaning that a lot of times we be telling ourselves the wrong thing. You be in the bed talking about, man, I want to kill somebody. Man, I want to kill myself. Man, I want to do this. But really, you should be telling yourself, you know what? I got so much to live for. You know what? God is good. You know what? And sometimes you can't really got the wherewithal to tell yourself these things. So you might gotta go sit on Diana's couch. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Let Diana break it down. Look, my man. Look over there. No, there's no green goblins. Look, I'm telling you, there's no green goblins over there. You know what I mean? Until you finally convince yourself and get on the right path, which is the laws of God. You know what I mean? So but you need that talk.
That's right.
And let's have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Perspective is everything, right? So the way you look at life in the beginning, you looked at it like, well, everything is about me, right? But when you change your perspective, for instance, now everything is about your nation. If you looked at it like that, it would change the way you move. If you if I'm a tennis player, that's a one-on-one sport. You know, if I'm always if that's how I get my exercise, I know how to do one-on-one. I can rely on myself. But then I play basketball or football. No matter how good I am myself, if my team suffer, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. So now I'm thinking team mind. I'm gonna move my mind from solo sport to team sport.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Now you're thinking about, instead of you thinking about family. Because if I'm successful in the Navy or the Army, that's fine. But if my family's successful in life, my son go to college, my daughter go to college, they get married, that's success. You know what I'm saying? So now just changing perspective. So the voice in your head, where is it coming from? What's telling you right and wrong? It's got to be something higher than us, because like I said, the Lord know what he made. He say the heart is desperately wicked. Right. It's always going to tell me what I'm doing is
right. Meaning the mind.
Right.
Meaning the mind. Right. That mind is always thinking on something wicked. You know what I'm saying? And that's everybody. That's all of us as well. You know what I'm saying? You had something? You good? All right. So yeah, I know we held y'all for a good long time. Diana, it was a pleasure, it's an honor. Hopefully we can have both of y'all back at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're gonna be doing like a series on mental health. So it'd be beautiful to have y'all back at some point. So I just want to say thank you. Squad, yes. Yeah, we got a live audience in here, y'all. We got live
thank
audience.
y'all for rolling through. Thank y'all for rolling through.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Good night.
All right,
Good night.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, real quick before y'all go, Leon, please shout out your all your social media and your website as well, please.
Bring it out.
Social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, Leon R. Walker Jr. You can find me on there. My website is www.leonrobertwalkerjr.com. Yep, you can Google me. I'm in there with my books and my retirement ceremony and my interviews talking about MPD. So yeah, I'm easy to find. Leon Robert Walker Jr. Google, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
All praises. Excellent. Miss Diana, please let them know where you at.
And I'm online too. I'm unprepared. I don't have my website, but if you Google me, Diana Abrams, San Francisco, I am taking virtual patients. And so feel free to book an appointment if you need help with any of these things, not just narcissism, but all the mental health disorders.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. All right. So we appreciate y'all. All right. Have a great evening. All right. And Lord's will, we speak again. All right.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for sliding through.
This is no, I want 14:14. I'm sorry. Let's start there. Right.
Second Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 4.
Is our sound on? I heard there's no sound.
It looked like sound.
Yeah, no sound.
The mic went out.
No, it's
we good. We back up. All right. Okay. Yes. Yep.
Back
okay.
on. All praise.
Yep.
Second Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
It said, let go mortal thoughts, right? Now, this is difficult because especially when we go through things in life, right? We hold on to them things. A lot of times we use those as fuel to make us strong, so to speak, right? But like Leon brought out, it's not really strength when you destroying somebody else,
right?
Because you destroying people for you to feel powerful, right? So that's what it says. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Go ahead.
And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
Right, because those thoughts are heavy, right? You're talking about molestation. You're talking about, other people going through things where they think their parents don't love them, or all those things that happen when you're a youngster. And then you come up with that and you keep it and hold on to it, right? Go ahead.
And haste thee to flee from these times.
Right, get away from that. Move away from that. And if that's called, you know what? Get some help. Maybe you need some that doctor. And then he also brought out about the mood disorder, that there's medicine involved in that you could take medicine for that. Go back to Sirach 38. Let me show you.
His head.
Hey, they said the sound is out, brothers. Come on, bro.
Today was an IT nightmare, bro.
IT need a beating.
They're saying it's good.
We good?
We good.
Check.
It's back
Microphone
up
check.
again, family. Yes,
Captain
sir.
Abiel,
We're
we
back.
good?
Go ahead, read.
Sirach 38 and 3. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration.
Go ahead, verse 4.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
Right. So the medicine's what? We coming out of the earth, right? All of the herbs and stuff to put together, right? But now jump down to verse 7. Sorry, 6.
Verse 6. And he hath given men skill.
He had given men skill. Come on.
That he might be honored in his marvelous works.
Right. So these doctors are given a certain skill. When they go to school and learn these things, and clinically they can touch and feel, hey, this is what you do. This is the Lord. Right? Read on.
With such doth he heal men.
With such does he heal men. With those doctors does he heal men. All right, come on.
And taketh away their pains.
Come on.
Of such doth the apothecary make a confection.
Right. The apothecary, that's that pharmacist. That's the one who's putting together the little potions. You know what I'm saying?
Concoction.
The concoctions.
The concoctions.
It say the confection, but when you in confections, you know, most people think of sweets like candies and chocolates and all of that. But it's really, at this point, it's really talking about all of the different medicines that the pharmacist will make. At that time, it's called the apothecary. So we don't have to feel no way. If we got to take some medicine, then take that medicine, y'all. All right, take that medicine. Maybe it might be a point for you to wean off of it. Right. But the Lord said, hey, go to that physician. If the physician, honor him. Honor what that physician is saying and deal with it.
Hey,
you know?
Cap, I done been there before too. People come to me, they be like, they come to the table, they like, yeah, so my doctor prescribed me all these medicines. Think I should stop taking my medicine? Hell no.
You take
you take that.
Right when the prescription said 3 times a day.
Yeah, don't
Cap,
come up in here crazy as hell. Because we're gonna get you up out of here.
Pray for me, and I just ain't no prayer can come. This kind come up not by way.
Right.
praying, fasting,
Right.
medicine.
Right. Pray for
Hey yo, yo.
Hey,
you know what was interesting to me is all of the things that they were diagnosed with.
Right.
They was all, a scripture came to mind, and it was all just different spirits, like Judah was saying. Go to
Right.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 28.
Oh man. Yeah.
And this here's what I noticed. I'm like, all of this stuff that he's saying that they diagnosed him with, and what was the symptoms to what he was having, it's all in the scripture. Read that.
Right.
Romans chapter 1, verse 28.
Come on.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge,
God
gave them over to a reprobate mind.
A reprobate mind is void of understanding. So you don't know what's good. You don't know what's bad. You don't know what's the best for you. And you damn sure don't give a damn about nobody else. Come on.
To do those things which are not convenient.
Come on.
Being filled with all unrighteousness.
You see that? Being filled with all unrighteousness. You like to jump from woman to woman. You doing drugs. You smoking cigarettes. You doing weed. Come on.
Fornication.
The number one thing is the fornication. Jumping from woman to woman to woman. The man to man to man. Go ahead.
Wickedness. Covetousness.
Come on.
Maliciousness.
Maliciousness. Remember, they said one of the symptoms, or one of the what is, they don't care about nobody else. They only care about themselves. Right. They do whatever they want to anybody just to make themselves feel good. That's a malicious spirit.
Right.
Come on.
Full of envy.
And they're full of envy, full of hatred. Go ahead.
But hold on, let's stay there for a second.
Yeah.
The brother said he was jealous over his children.
Yes.
The children's
right.
relationship.
Damn,
with the mother.
for real.
Right.
I heard. I wanted to say something.
Right. And then when he actually explained the situation to the sister Joy. I wish he could have came back, but he actually explained the situation about what her husband was doing.
Yes.
And I think he was spot on, because she was like, she took it all in.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Full of envies. Come on.
Full of envy. Murder.
Hatred. Go give me that in 1 John right quick. Let's see what the murder talking about.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 15.
Come on.
Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
That he hated. He was saying he hated everything around him, his kids, his wife. He went and got with another woman, made kids, and had another family that he didn't even like, just to piss her off.
Right.
That's malicious. That's hatred. That's hateful. And these are all spirits that we deal with inside the Bible. Why did it say we deal with it? Because we do not retain God in our knowledge. Right. We don't keep the commandments. Right. We don't know who we are. We don't know which way is up. And for that cause and for that reason, God make us think like that. That's right. God made you a narcissist. Go ahead.
And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. Romans chapter 1 and verse 29.
Come on.
Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness,
come on,
covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit,
Mm-hmm.
malignity,
Uh-huh.
whisperers,
They whisperers. They talk behind each other's back. Read.
backbiters,
They backbiters. They don't, again, talk behind people's back. Come
Mhm.
on.
haters of God,
They haters of God. Why? Because we do not keep the commandments. We do not retain God in our knowledge. Remember, God say he'll heal you from all of these things. He say, it was neither herb nor mollified plaster that healed them to health.
Right.
But thy word, O Lord, is what healeth all things. We hate God though. Come on.
back haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters,
Proud, boasters. That's what narcissists is. They wrapped up in themselves.
Right.
They're very proud. They're boasters. I lost my train of thought. Say something. Somebody.
Go
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, this is what I'm gonna say though, right? Yeah. It's a clinical diagnosis for each one of these things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Fornication, that's sex disorder. What you call that? You
You
know
said
what I'm saying?
sex disorder.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
they got that. You know what I'm
Yo, he
saying?
just made
I know what you're
something
talking
up.
about.
That's a
No, it is
disorder.
a disorder. I
Yeah.
forgot what it's called though.
What?
What?
Sex
Nympho?
addict?
Yeah, you could
Nymphomaniac.
clinically,
Nymphomaniac.
yeah, you could clinically diagnose each one of these things that, and what verse 31, we talking about the narcissist today as the topic, right?
Yep.
Read verse 31.
Right.
verse 31. Without
Stink meter. Yeah. Some of
Crazy.
these dudes is clinically diagnosed with an allergic reaction to water. That shit's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
verse 31.
Yep.
Without understanding,
Uh-huh.
covenant breakers,
Yep.
without natural affection,
Without what?
natural affection,
The natural affection that you should have for your children, the natural affection you should have for your wife, the natural affection you should have for your people. Read on.
Yep.
implacable,
Uh-huh.
unmerciful,
Look, God, the symptoms that God had, people now today just now figuring out, okay, we're going to classify this as narcissistic disorder.
Right.
But God had it classified way back here. He said,
Yeah.
these are the evil spirits that's going to be on men.
Hey, and God's diagnose is sin. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You get all of these spirits through the things that you do in your life and in your body. Your sin is what make you that narcissist. Your sin is what make you a backbiter, a hater of God, and unmerciful.
Hey, real quick, Captain Abiel was saying that the clinical names are actually the modern names for ancient demons.
Damn.
Which is
Damn.
which is insane.
Bring Cap on right now.
which is
He's our next guest, man.
Yes, sir.
Right here.
which is all the way crazy.
Oh, praise.
Wow. That's all the way crazy. Matter of
Yo.
fact, well, Cap, hold on. Cap actually did a class on narcissism a couple of I want to say a couple of months ago, maybe about last month or so. Y'all probably can find it. Yeah. It's called a narcissistic demon,
Yeah, man.
something like that. But yo, y'all can find that.
Check that out.
You find that, and that's the funny part about just going into that real quick. I remember it was a couple years ago. It was an officer. I can't remember his name. He did a class on narcissism. Right. I looked at the title. I said, yeah, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Is this because it was a new word, so it just sounded like calling somebody a jerk or something like that. You know what I mean? Then Deacon Isaac did one, right? But again, I'm not connecting to it like that. I heard it. I said, okay, Then
Yeah.
we
Hey,
start
Cap.
to see some things going on.
Hey, because
And
at
we
that
start
time,
looking into it.
at that time, Cap, sisters would just use it just to use it.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Everybody was
they
being called
they
a
just use
narcissist.
it just to use it,
Right.
Because they can't get their way. Are you a narcissist? No,
Right.
you spend too much damn money.
Yo, you
gonna
crazy.
give me that money?
You crazy.
What?
You crazy. Come on. You crazy. You use too much money. Oh, give me the card. No. You're a narcissist. I said, no. Narcissists mean bad husband.
Man, look here, bro.
But then we start seeing stuff over time. I start running into these guys online, and I'm like, hold up, this is a real thing. We start reading about it. I said, oh man, this is wicked as hell. Matter of fact, Captain Abiel put me onto it. You know what I'm saying? And that's when we start to see how crazy this thing is, man. Hey, real quick. I don't know. Did we finish that?
We finished verse 31. We didn't read 32.
All right, read 32.
Verse 32. Who, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death.
Yo,
All of those things that narcissists commit, because remember, we're reading about a narcissist right here in Romans 1. He said all of these things that they do is worthy of death. Go ahead.
Not only do the same, but have
Not only
pleasure.
do y'all do the same, not only do you think the same way,
but have pleasure in them that do them.
you also have pleasure in these people.
Right.
We ain't doing nothing to try to correct our people. We diagnosing them with ADHD and then sending them to the playground and let them running
You know
around.
what's so crazy? Just the therapist sister and the brother kind of spoke to that, right?
Right.
Because when you live with the narcissist for so long, right, then you kind of become accustomed to that behavior, and now there's not only a dependency, but then there's an infatuation and a like and a love for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you start to behave that way now too.
There you go.
That's what can happen, because now you're hit by it. So now you're saying, in order for me not to feel that pain, I'm gonna have to inflict this on someone else to make sure that I'm not gonna feel that ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
That's exactly what it is.
hey, let me get 2 Timothy chapter 3, because this is really some heavy stuff. And again, we know that everything is spiritual. You know, we know that our brothers and sisters who a lot of times they get to come on the show, they're not understanding that, and Lord's will, you know what I'm saying, they will get it afterwards. You know what I'm saying, they look us up and continue to watch. But let me get 2 Timothy chapter 3, starting verse 1.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Come on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
That's what he was saying. That they're lovers of their own selves, to the point to where you don't even care about your kid, bro. That's some heavy stuff. We got nothing but fathers in here, right? You can't even picture that, to the point to where you don't care about your children. That's heavy duty. Read on.
Covetous.
You want something. Everything you look at, you want that to be you. Go ahead.
Boasters.
That's what we just read about. Come on.
Proud.
See that? Them same spirits we was reading about in Romans. This right here. Come on.
Blasphemers.
Oh, there you go. Blasphemers. Remember the brother said, I didn't even believe in no God. I didn't even want to deal with no God. He didn't want to deal with that, because in dealing with God, guess what? You got to be held accountable. You got to be held accountable. Even if you don't know about the commandments, you know.
Yeah.
You know. Read on.
Disobedient to parents.
Damn. Go ahead.
Unthankful.
Right. Unthankful. Right. You don't give a damn. He said, I never apologize. I never apologize.
Right.
And that's kind of strange, because most men would apologize. Right. You usually see that out of a lot of sisters. I'm sorry, sisters. Y'all know y'all hate the word sorry.
They turn on the tears.
Bruh.
Yeah.
They hate the word sorry almost as much as I can't get the credit card. Almost as much as that.
Damn.
Yo, go ahead.
Disobedient to parents. Unthankful. Unholy. Without natural affection.
Without that natural affection. Right. That's heavy stuff. Right? They don't even have that natural affection to their children, to the brothers. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying it's good to speak to a brother like Leon, because he was in the service. So you got to watch your brothers back in the service.
Yeah.
But it wasn't due to the affection. It was due to the fact that he was going to get medals and accolades and ranked up.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, read on.
Truce breakers.
False. Right? Hold on.
Stay right there.
Yeah, don't
Hold
run
on now.
Don't run.
Don't run.
Yeah. Don't run. Because this is when you have what? Those marriages.
Yep.
Right? Those covenants, and they're broken. Why? Because the person don't really care nothing about that marriage.
Remember, the man said he didn't give a damn about getting caught cheating.
Oh, not at all.
That's a truth. That's a truth breaker. We reading about the narcissist in the Bible, man.
He said as long as his job was straight, he knew he could recover. Meaning, hey, all I got to do is go to work. The people at work got love for me. I got he still got his persona there. Yeah. And that's all that counts. Yeah. And he got his money coming in so he could make it happen. And that's pretty much for everybody. That covers your spirit. Go ahead.
Truce breakers. False accusers. Creating
stories. Remember, he said something important. I didn't jump back to it. But remember, he said that as he was blowing up in rank, other people were getting hurt. Right?
He was going up in rank at the cost of other people.
That's
what
right.
He said.
He was backbiting, undercutting people, undermining them. Listen, this is heavy stuff. False accusers.
Liars. And the cold part cat, if you remember why he said was this wow, he said, I created this persona because of my childhood trauma, right?
Right.
Everything he'd been through, how he was belittled, he was molested, he had all that stuff going on. So he had to create this persona. called Leon.
Right.
And doing so,
Right.
he didn't care who got stepped on.
That's right.
That's like Hank. You remember Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yeah, yeah.
Create Hank. You
He
know what I'm
created
saying?
Hank. Yep.
Hank came in with the dance when he was
Man, he was not taking no BS.
yo.
Hank
Bruh.
went crazy.
Hank was going crazy.
Hey,
No, that's all body. That's real.
the thing about not society, but the industries though, like the medical industry, they don't know the actual fix to it. They know like how to treat it, but everything we're reading here, like this should be interesting to anybody that got that disorder or any disorder. Say, damn, I didn't know all those symptoms was in the Bible,
Right.
and it's completely accurate. Everything that we was talking about, now these guys are reading it, right? But we had not we, the Bible says these things can be fixed, right? So when I go to 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, watch this, because everything we read, these are bad spirits to have. We didn't know, and we have these spirits based upon our environment, so on and so forth. But watch this.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9.
So my brother Leon is redeemable. Anybody with any disorder is redeemable. Every one of us is fixed. We got brothers come from gang lifestyles. Fix that. Whoremongers, we fix that. Drug addicts, we here, fix that. And why? Because what we're reading, watch this.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators.
That's the first spirit. Read on.
Nor idolaters. Nor adulterers. Nor effeminate.
Yep.
Nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
People deal with that, right? Read on.
Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
So all those bad spirits, all those clinically diagnosed things that we have, God said you're not going to inherit. But watch this bottom part. Watch this. Keep reading.
And such were some of you.
And then it says, and such were some of you. So everybody that had a effeminate spirit was fixed. Everybody that had a whoremonger spirit was fixed. He said, and such were some of you. Read.
But ye are washed.
But you've been washed. What cleaned us up? What cleaned us up? How do you take a child that's been touched by his uncle and turn him into a man? How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? What can you tell him? Because in his mind, he think, well, I went through this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? This is how it's supposed to be based upon, but it says such was washed. How do you make a murderer love his brother again? You know what I'm saying? How do you make an adulterer pick one wife? How do you do these things? You can only do it by being washed. And then what washes us? What washes, like we read earlier, you got to be cured with his word.
Right.
What convert our soul?
Right.
These words. You see what I'm saying? Your perspective come from here, because I used to look at a situation like glass half empty, but now God's saying you lucky you got water in the glass.
Right.
Look at it from that perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My perspective used to be get rich or die trying, but now my perspective is be content with what you got.
Right.
They that would be rich fall into many hurtful lusts. You know what I'm saying? So now our perspective changed. I used to see an enemy that was wearing a certain color, but now I don't give a damn what he wearing or where he from. That's my
Right.
brother. You know what I'm saying? So perspective change based upon the God in your head.
Yep.
Hey,
Take it back to 2 Timothy 3.
please.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 3.
Yep.
Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good.
You heard that? Despisers of those that are good, haters of those that are good. And I wanted to speak to him on that because I think I heard Leon say it or somebody say it, that a lot of narcissists like people in church settings, in religious settings, because they feel like those people got a good heart and they can more take advantage of them. Pretty much they won't see them coming. They'll trust them to that effect, right? But despisers of those that are good. Go ahead.
Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
Lovers of pleasures, right? That's what we talk about, the smoking, the porn, right? The drinking, right? The women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For a man and for women, probably, whatever. The opposite of whatever the case may be, right? Read on.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away.
From such turn away. You know, because at the end of the day, these are what? These are all spirits.
Yes.
All spirits. Go ahead, bro.
What they are these spirits they call personality disorders.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what they call it. And all of these are spirits that the Lord got the ointment for, the pharmaceutical that you need to heal it. Straight up, man.
Look at I'm sorry. But but look at this. Like they say mental health, right? But look at Mark 7:21, right? This is a scripture we read all the time.
Yes, sir.
Right? But this is when you talk about being mentally challenged. Right. I don't know what it's. You understand what I'm saying? This is it right here. Go ahead.
Mark chapter 7, verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men,
out of the minds of men, come on,
proceed evil thoughts.
Go ahead.
Adulteries.
He talked about that tonight. Come on.
Fornications.
Come on.
Murderers.
He was saying that some of the overt or the overt narcissists such as himself thinking about murder, whether it's self-murder or homicide, right? Go ahead.
Thefts.
Go ahead.
Covetousness. Wickedness.
Go ahead.
Deceit.
See that? Deceit, right? Running game on the other person, deceiving them, pretending that you're somebody when you're not. Go ahead.
Lasciviousness.
Man.
An evil eye.
Hatred towards your brother or sister. Go ahead.
Blasphemy. Pride. Foolishness.
Go ahead.
All these things come from within.
All these evil things.
All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
And defile a man. Right? Go ahead, y'all.
Bro, that was everything. We just went through like 5 or 6 different scriptures that speak upon the things that they say that the clinic could diagnose a man with narcissist,
right?
As a narcissist. And look, the Bible's a true book, y'all. Go ahead, man. Somebody say
Psalms 19:7. Because that's the main thing.
Right.
The main thing that I picked up on as well when the sister said there's really no cure for it. You know, clinically, when you're trying to find something like let's say my alternator go out in my car, and I don't know if I'm trying to figure it out for myself. I don't know exactly how the alternator works or whatever, and I try to hit it with the wrench. I'm not a mechanic, you know. Yeah, I wiggle it a little bit. I unplug it, plug it back up. The shade tree.
Yeah,
but eventually I'm gonna come to a conclusion and say, you know what, it's just broke. You know what I'm saying? But if you took it to an expert, he would say, oh man, you could take this back. You can get this one fixed, get a core charge, or you get a brand new one, and the whole car work. You know what I'm saying? So clinically, when we trying to figure things out for ourselves, like science testing different theories and see what works, but we haven't found anything yet. God said everything can be cured by this right here. Watch this.
Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
It's the only thing that can convert the soul that's in the man. You know what I'm saying? The mind in the man can be converted. So the things I used to like, I used to see somebody get beat up and I'll laugh. You know what I'm saying? We see somebody fall off a bike and laugh. You know what I'm saying? But when you look in the Bible, would say, for the hurt of my people, I am hurt. So it's not funny no more. You know, oppression make a wise man mad. I start to feel the oppression when I was, you know, I didn't see it at a point. You know, when I'm doing good, money is up, I don't see the oppression. But now I'm reading, I'm like, wow, I can't unsee it. It changes the whole soul. You know, so each person we talk to is fixable. And we can look for more years. We can look 10, 20 years, 30 years clinically for a fix. But it's like that remind me of Deuteronomy 28 and 28. It say we're going to grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness.
Right.
You see that? But everything we find, we're going to be oppressed and spoiled even more until we come back to this. And that's why we have to talk about these things. We got to bring up the conversation. We got to talk to real life people out there hurting.
Yeah.
You see that? People trying to figure it out.
But that's good you said that. And the sister Joy, you know, she wasn't able to come back on, right? Give me Sirach 30 in verse 21, right? Because we was talking about the people that actually go to see Diana, right? And how she would deal with bringing them back and helping them heal, right? Give me verse 21.
This is Ecclesiasticus of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 21. Give not thy mind over to heaviness.
Right. Because these victims of narcissism, right? Seem like they go through a lot. Imagine you would, like what Leon was explaining. Imagine a sister being up under that type of heaviness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Lord said, "Give not over thy mind to heaviness." Meaning, after you get through this thing, hey, don't lean out of that. Read on.
And afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Don't afflict yourself in your own counsel. You know what I'm saying? Be in here. Be in this book. Be amongst the brethren. Right? They're going to help you get through this. We're going to help you get through this. Right? Come on.
The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days.
Give me that 23.
Love thine own soul.
See that? Love thine own soul. Right? So when you getting that hatred from the, if you're a victim of this narcissistic abuse, you got to love your own self.
Right.
Because according to what Diana was saying, what Joy was saying, what Leon was saying, the determination of the narcissist is to bring down your esteem, to destroy you. But you got to do what? You got to love your own soul and comfort your own heart. Come on.
Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart.
Come on.
Remove sorrow far from thee.
Come on.
For sorrow hath killed many.
Because that has killed many.
Right.
You never gain yourself back. You still in this perpetual, circle of hurt and anger and all that foolishness. Nah, the Lord said, nah, get out of that. Read.
And there is no profit therein.
Go ahead.
Verse 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth
worry. Go ahead.
And carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Right. You start looking older and older because you worry about something that happened before. I'm not saying you're not going to be hurt, but what I'm saying is build yourself out of that. Get in these scriptures, get around the brethren, you know what I'm saying, and build yourself out of that. Go ahead, y'all.
Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13, because they say it's not curable, but the Lord say something different.
Right.
Give me that.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 14.
Come on. 13.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to men.
I think one of the brothers said it earlier. All of the stuff that we see, we all done been through. We all have trauma in our lives. Go ahead.
But God is faithful.
They said these things ain't uncommon, but God is the faithful one. Come on.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
Yeah, we go through these things because the Lord said, no, the Lord know we can handle it. We know we can get through it if we lean on him. Come on.
But will with the temptation
with
also.
The same temptation, the whoremonger, the same temptation that you have to get over on somebody or to bring somebody down. Come on.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
He opened up the door with the way to escape. And the way to escape is this book here, the Bible. It gives you what your do's and don'ts is. And if you do what you're supposed to do, you escape the symptoms of being a narcissist. If you do what's told unto you, then you what does it say? You have good success.
Right.
You have good success when you do what is written in the Bible. And this is why our people we go down and out at this point in time, because we don't keep the commandments. We don't do what God say. We tried everything else but what the Lord said. Right. And that's keep the commandments. Give me Jeremiah 5, 25, 25, 5, something like that. You know what I want?
Yes. Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 25.
Come on.
Your iniquities have turned away these things.
You see that? Our iniquities is what make us and put us in these hellholes that we in. Come on.
And your sins have withholden good things from you.
And that's why we don't never see nothing good in the black community, because our sin blocks everything. Your personal individual lust blocks everything. It blocks the building the unity in our communities. It stops all that. Because why? You too much focus on yourself. Like the scripture that Cap brought out earlier. Men be lovers of their own selves, meaning they care about what's going on in their life and only what's going on in their life. They don't care about what's their neighbor next to them.
You know where we hear that at a lot at camp is like today people, we think we got economics, education, so on and so forth.
Yep.
And you know that we've been effectively broken when somebody say, well, I got a degree, or well, I'm doing good, I got some money. And that was the mindset for me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have much natural affection for anybody else. As long as I'm doing good, me and my 4 guys and our families is doing good, then that's success to me. But then I'm not thinking nation.
Hey, Jude, just last show, I was like, we in a trap.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't in no trap.
Yeah.
I ain't in no damn trap.
Right.
The trap ain't in me.
The trap ain't in me.
Like,
Yo,
bro, it was crazy. And that's the type of mindset that we got to deal with our people.
So we talk about it, then we read about it, right? So we talking to the people, and then we reading everything we've had conversation about. So the same way we've been taught to be individuals, then you read Psalms 83, and it's like, wait a minute, that took effect. We have been cut off from being a nation. Anytime somebody say, I'm good, you know, I'll sell drugs to this brother, knowing it's going to destroy him. I know it's going to destroy his marriage. I know it's going to destroy his kids because he going to leave and go into the drugs. He might go to jail. I know it's going to destroy everybody I sell this to, but I got some money. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole problem. Psalms 83 then took effect. I've been discontinued from my heritage. You know what I'm saying? That the nation of Israel no more remembers. So now I'm an individual, and individuals turn into Bloods, individuals turn into Crips, individuals turn into, you know what I'm saying? Republicans and Democrats and all this. And we can never do the main thing. The 2 greatest commandments when Christ broke them down was love God with all your heart and all your soul, and then love your neighbors yourself. So he said, love God and love your brethren. Love God and love your people. And the way to do those things is keep the commandments that pertain to God, keep the commandments that pertain to your people.
You know what? It's crazy because, you know, what we've been talking about lately is proven marriages, right? This is one of the reasons why you don't want to do a backdoor marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because you don't really know what you're dealing with in a backdoor marriage, right? So you talking to this person, right? And y'all talking and everything is cool. Then you go off and you know, right?
Happened.
You smash something, right?
Yeah.
But they say, yo, listen, man, there's a lot of kids in here, man. Right?
And I lie with her.
Yeah, right. Cheeks and all that, right? Getting spanked out. But here's the hey, come on, behave yourselves. Yeah, behave yourself, right? No, but the crazy part about it is y'all do that, right? And then the Lord is saying, okay, what you gonna do? Y'all get married, but you don't really know what you married.
Yeah.
So now you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep the commandments. I'm gonna marry this sister. I'm gonna hold it down. Or the sister say, well, you know what? We married. Meanwhile, you got a narcissist you about to get with,
Right?
Because you never proved all the pieces that you got to put together.
Yeah.
The mental health aspect,
Yep.
the physical health aspect, the friendship, all of that. But now we know that it goes even deeper than just when you say prove a friend.
Yep.
You got to know everything about this person, hopefully about as much as you can know. Now, you brothers and sisters out there, remember, Deacon did a class about a month ago or so, right? And he said, you got to ask about mental health.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that you would never even think to ask a person.
Right.
I would never have thought to ask no woman that, hey, listen, do you have any mental health problems that I should be concerned about once
She's like, nah.
we get to the crib?
I'm good. Like, what's that twitch you doing, sister? I ain't nothing mental.
Right?
Yo,
Man. And I know we take a little laugh, and the brothers and sisters who are going through something, you know, hey, listen, we just bringing some levity to it, right? A little bit of fun to it, right? But it's a real thing. It's a real thing, because then we get wrapped up with a nut job. Yo, I said that. Yeah, I ain't mean that. But some of y'all is nutty as hell.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Some of y'all is nutty as all outdoors, right? But that's what happens. Then we raise up and say, oh, this person did X, Y, and Z. Then we find out later on they crazy as hell.
Man.
Yep.
What about
so brothers and sisters, man, keep your trousers up.
Please.
Sisters, go get yourself a chastity belt, old school.
Yeah.
The metal one.
Yeah.
And put the master lock on it and throw the key away. How we use the bathroom? I don't know.
That old school locker lock.
Yeah,
You gotta
right. Right. And remember, those was kind of easy to open. Don't do that. Remember, brothers used to be like, I heard the click. Open it right up.
Bro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For real, man.
Yeah, real talk.
Man.
Real talk. Hey, go to Acts chapter 5. Let me show y'all something. Yeah, because we gotta recognize these as spirits. We have to recognize that what we dealing with is spirits. We looking at each other. You look at a person, you say, "Damn, I like the way this person looks," and boom, and you overlook certain things. But we all dealing with something, and it could be something as severe as that, right? Let me see. Give me verse 12. We're gonna read down.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 12. And by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch.
Come on.
And of the rest, there's no man joined himself to them, but the people magnified them.
Right.
And believers were the more added to the Lord, multitudes, both men and women.
Right. So all these believers were coming, right? The brothers was bringing it out. Go ahead, read.
Insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets.
They brought forth the sick into the streets. Come on.
And laid them on beds and couches.
Come on.
That at the least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow some of them.
So they said just the shadow alone of when Peter was passing by, they was getting healed. Right? Read on.
There came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem, bringing sick folks, and them which were vexed with unclean spirits.
So these people that were vexed with unclean spirits, what y'all think that was? Y'all think it was just them running around? No.
Right.
No, that's not all it was. Right. But the point is that these are spirits on these brothers and sisters. Right. And it can be healed with the word of God. That's what we're saying. Right. But that's why the Lord said you got to throw them prayers in there. You know what I'm saying? Honor the physician. That's when the physician going to be able to come in there and help you. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is going to allow that and say, all right, fix this man. This man is being sincere. This man trying to, do something. Is that it on that?
There's more.
Yeah, please.
And they were healed, everyone.
And they were healed, everyone.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we telling everybody in the congregation or those of you who might be watching and have been watching the Israelites for a while, right? Listen, and y'all dealing with these issues, they can be fixed, but you have to acknowledge it. And part of that is acknowledging your sin, like it's saying in Psalms, right? Get that, y'all. Bring that out. You got to acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge that sin and you come to the Lord, he's going to come to you.
First Kings?
What?
First Kings 8.
How you go there? I said, you got to acknowledge that sin. I said Psalms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you going crazy over there, man. What are you doing in the corner?
Slow mic.
Yo.
He's
Somebody get that man a Red Bull or something over there. What's wrong with him? All praises.
No, Psalms. You didn't call it. You just said Psalms.
I said acknowledge your sin. That's 51, right?
Oh, yep.
Somebody help this guy, man. We're going to have to bring in a relief pitcher. This dude tied him.
130.
He called a pitch. He was like,
yo.
Give him the
Where's
fastball.
32.
Yo, somebody pull it up. What's going on? Yeah,
Psalm chapter 32, verse 5. I acknowledge my sin unto thee.
Come on.
And mine iniquity have I not hid.
Right. So that's the point. You want to acknowledge that sin, right? So just like he said, hey, I got to make myself a better person.
Yeah.
He recognized that. He might not have known that scripture, Psalms 32. He might not have known it, but inside he said, damn, I got to become a better person. Those of us that's in this, Lord's will, Leon, catch on with us and get with us one day. But those of us who know this, we got to acknowledge our sin and come to the Lord. Yeah. And what? He's going to heal us, right? Of all of it, the murderous tendencies, the violence that we want to do, right? A lot of y'all brothers and sisters are suffering from that. They don't call that NPD or narcissistic personality disorder. They just call that a nigga. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigga personality disorder.
Yeah.
Go to Daniel chapter 9 and 3. Let's get another one. Personality disorder. Read that, man. Read it.
Daniel chapter 9 and verse 3.
Come on.
And I set my face unto the Lord God to seek by prayer.
Prayer
and supplications. With fasting.
And you got to pray, you got to fast, and what else?
And sackcloth and ashes.
Well, here we go. Here go the point. Read it.
And I prayed unto the Lord, my God, and made my confession.
And made his what?
My confession.
You got to make your what?
Confession.
You have to acknowledge what you did wrong. Praying and fasting don't work unless you acknowledge what you did wrong.
Right.
You have to do that.
Bro, they like, Lord, you all knowing. Forgive me for my sins. You know what I'm talking about.
What
the hell?
Lord, you my shepherd. You know what I want.
Right.
Get the hell out of here. You better
Lord, I don't want to re-offend by stating what it is that I did, but you know what I did. So that one,
yeah.
forgive that.
Yeah.
No.
Forgive that. Man,
No.
you got to make that confession, man.
Right,
Read on.
Right.
And said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his
You
commandments.
see that? You got to confess that to show that you love him. You got to confess that so you can heal from it. Go ahead.
Verse 5. We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly.
Come on.
And have rebelled.
That we did what?
Rebelled.
You have to acknowledge your rebellion. You have to not acknowledge that you was a whoremonger and stop it. You got to acknowledge that you was an adulterer and stop it. You got to acknowledge all of the sins that you in, confess it, and then forsake it. Leave it alone. Read.
Even by departing from thy precepts.
Wait, how was we rebellious?
By departing from thy precepts.
We was rebellious from when we departed from the law. We departed from God, from the Most High's precepts. When we left away from loving our neighbors as we loved ourselves. That's when all of the iniquity came in. Finish it out.
And from thy judgments.
Go ahead. When somebody got something, go ahead. Right, you got something. You look like you got something. Go ahead and speak on
The
it.
whole conversation was good, though.
Nah, real talk.
The whole thing. I like speaking with the people too. You know, I like speaking with them people that's on the outside looking in, and then maybe they can rewatch and say, "Damn, some of those things we was talking about, or all them things we was talking about, they are reading it. They are reading it. You know what I'm saying? So you look into it. You know, have the conversation. Let's have the conversation and let's talk about it, and then let's read about it and let's go through it and really try to heal the people. You know, we've all been healed from something. You know, each one of us, we've all been healed from something up in here.
And continue healing every day.
Yeah. It's a fight. Yeah, you gotta, like I say, you gotta acknowledge your sin and then seek change, right? Or whatever you doing wrong. Whatever you do wrong. And what's wrong? How do I know? I used to think whoremongering was right. Why would I get married? There's so many ways. They say, the excuse in my mind is men or women outnumber men 2-1. So I should have this, that, you know. But then when you read the standard, you know what I'm saying? It changes my outlook and to say, you know what? I am supposed to be married, because the natural use, it say we left the natural use of the woman. The natural use of the woman is to get married, have children, establish family. That's the natural use. It's not natural for us to, you know, bounce from woman to woman to woman, live that promiscuous lifestyle. That's not natural. You know, the same way the lion supposed to hunt, it's not natural for him to sit in no damn zoo. But based upon what he's learned all his life, you know what I'm saying? That's where he at. He don't, and if you put him in the wild, if you put him back in the wild, he won't even survive. He don't know the first thing about hunting, you know? So we trying to put all of us coming from wild lifestyles back into civilization, and that's why it's hard. It ain't necessarily easy. Paul talk about the thorn in his flesh. You know what I'm saying? He say, hey, my grace is sufficient for you. You got time to work that out.
Yeah, pull that out right now.
Yeah.
Get that real quick.
Go to Romans.
Yeah, real quick.
7.
Is it? I thought it was
1 Corinthians.
It was Corinthians 12, right?
12 and
yeah.
Yeah.
No, 2 Corinthians
7. Oh, I'm wrong on that one.
2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Right. It says that what Paul was saying, unless he should be exalted above measure, right? Because Paul was doing a lot. So now Paul was letting the people know, hey, don't start making me more than what I am. Right. Go ahead.
The messenger of Satan.
Hold on. Go back to abundance of the revelations that was given to me.
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations.
Right.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Right. He said there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, meaning what? That Paul was dealing with lasciviousness, right? That those sexual thoughts and all of that, right? He was dealing with that. He said that was a thorn in his flesh. Although he had all the revelations, he could break down scripture and all that. Christ gave it to him. He still had that. Go ahead, read on.
The messenger of Satan to buffet me.
Whoa. He said that was a messenger of Satan to buffet me. Go ahead.
Lest I should be exalted above measure.
Because what? That kept him what? Humble. Because if he was never battling anything, then he'd be Christ.
Right.
That means he, even though Christ had dealt with everything and overcome it, then he would be as Christ. No, he had to stayed there. So a lot of times when we praying for that one thing that we got a problem with, the Lord will keep it there. Be like, damn, why I can't beat that? Why is it always there? The Lord keep that there so you can learn war. That was a bomb. That's them guys is making noise with their mouth in there. Yo, but, all right. But real talk, that right there will keep us humble. So when we got these little issues, we got to continue to fight them. Why? Because when we start to not master it, but control it to a degree, we able to come and teach the people now. Now we're able to come and say, hey, brother, this is how you get over porn. This is how you get over, fornication and so on and so forth and all the other sicknesses, what I'm saying, that we brought out earlier in the scriptures, All praises to the Lord. Hey, Officer Yediah, it's about that. We good? All right. Go ahead. All right. You ask him?
I'm just thinking.
Wait, hold on. We ain't done with that. Read on.
Verse 8.
Yeah, this thing crazy.
For this thing I besought the Lord thrice.
Right. Paul said, I went to the Lord 3 times for this thing to get rid of this. Lord, please. Oh, this is. Go ahead.
That it might depart from me.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me,
go ahead.
My grace is sufficient for thee.
He said, my grace is sufficient for you. Come on.
For my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Damn. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Right. So in that weakness that you got, and you overcoming that, that's showing the strength right there. Right. So that grace that the Lord is saying this is sufficient for you, meaning what? With the commandments, you're going to battle, you're going to win, and that's how you're going to show the strength.
Yeah.
You understand? That's just like, and that's why I said that for you to learn war. Because in the times of Israel back then, right? Israel went in and took over the land, and the Lord said, kill everybody, but they stayed there. And the Lord said, no, I'm going to keep those nations around so that these generations can learn war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't want them to be all like, oh, yeah, my dad and them, they killed everybody. We living good. No, he wanted them to learn how to hold sword.
Damn. Look at the like all these rich people's kids.
That's right.
Yeah, you see how they turn out because they don't,
right.
Dad from the hood made it big in rap, and
you
just weirdo. You know what I'm saying? You can't relate to pops or nothing,
right?
But you got the background. You know what I'm saying from being, but you can. It just tear you up.
Nah,
so the Lord
talk.
said, I don't want no kids like that.
There was a violation.
Yo, he said, I don't want no kids like that. Y'all gonna learn this war.
Yeah.
Oh,
no Jaden Smiths up in here.
Yeah.
No, God, please, no.
No Willow Smith.
No.
Yo, Willow Smith. No Jaden.
No way.
Yo, real talk. What you got, Shem? What you got?
Man,
all right. Yeah, man. So
fighting that concupiscence, you know what I'm saying? You say thorn in the flesh.
Yeah.
The Lord talk about abstinence, abstaining, discipline.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what the grace is for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Women gonna be beautiful to the end of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What else they got out there? Revenge. That's gonna be sweet until the end of time.
Yo, listen. No, that's heavy because I'm glad you brought that up because that's what he said. He brought that up as well. That he would do something if something just hurt him a little bit. And that's another thing I wanted to ask Diana about. I forgot to ask because I was reading it. It was saying that if they get hurt a little bit, that they go all out to pay you back. So like you might say something like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? That probably ain't the right shoes. You know what I'm saying? I told you don't wear them shoes. They're like, oh, this nigga told me to change my shoes. Huh? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to blow up his house. Right.
Yeah.
They go to those links. You know what I'm saying? Straight vengeance. You know what I mean? So like you said, vengeance was always lovely.
I think I've seen more narcissistic women then. You know what I'm saying? Because you tell a sister a little bit of something, she'll lie to you and say that this child is yours.
Oh, damn. Damn.
You know what I'm saying? She'll take a brother to a child support, but 20 years and then
For
you
real.
spoil.
And let
Man.
you deny it. She busting your car windows out.
Man.
Right. No, and they said that. They said that the narcissistic women, they just started finding out about them not too long ago.
Right.
Generally, it was a man's problem, and they just started finding out about the women because they covert,
Yeah.
meaning they're very undercover. They showing you one thing, but the whole thing is just like what he did.
Yeah.
But the women that they very docile, oh, you know, nice, and so you thinking they cool people, but at the end of the day, it's straight demon.
Woman scorn.
Yeah, they ain't even scoring. They just crazy. They just mad. You know, and again, it could be something that happened before. We don't know.
Yeah.
But the point is, you got to catch yourself. Look what Leon said when he's doing these things, when he was doing those things to people, he was feeling good about it. That gave him strength, that gave him power. So the same thing with the women. It gives him a feeling of control.
Right, right.
You know, so listen, this is gonna be something that's gonna be a big thing amongst our people for, you know, look like until Christ come. So Lord's will, you know, people got something out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Them
For real.
plagues of the mind is
Yeah.
something terrible.
Yeah.
That's the studio audience, y'all.
Live. That's live.
That's a live studio audience,
them,
y'all.
Them real,
Yeah.
them real hand clap.
Oh yeah.
Them is flesh.
Yeah, give it to
and
him.
blood hands.
Them real hand clap.
I know people thinking, why don't y'all swing the camera around and show them? No, we ain't showing y'all.
Yeah.
They real. They real.
They are real.
They real.
Really
So all praises to the Most High for our studio audience coming out, you know what I'm saying, and supporting the movement. You know what I'm saying? This was a great show. We want to thank again Leon Walker, the therapist Diana Abrams, and the sister Joy. Let me get her last name correct. M. Pizzeni, Joy M. Pizzeni, but she wasn't able to stay on. She had a power issue at her residence.
Right.
And she wasn't able to stay on with us, but you know, we say thanks to her for showing up. And hey, all praise to the Lord for this, you know, outlet. Lord's will, y'all got something out of that. Hey, next week we're gonna do a show on reparations, which is making a huge noise out here in California. There's a lot going on. It has gone on the last couple of months. There's a lot going on this week. So we're going to have that. We're going to have a couple of guests speaking about that and the whole movement going on across America as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Y'all might want to stick around for that. That's going to be fully packed with much information. Let's just say that, right? On what our people think they're going to get back and what the Lord says we're going to get back. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, again, I'm Captain Zakai.
I'm Officer Shim.
Officer Judah.
And
Phone man,
guy.
listen.
Phone guy.
Listen, somebody get him a Red Bull, something, get him right.
Hey,
Get him a
His
coffee.
battery blinking.
give me my scripture, man, and get my soundbite ready.
Yeah.
And Nehemiah, you know what I want. Don't act like you don't know. If you don't know, we get a new reader.
Man.
He don't know.
This is Nehemiah chapter 8,
No.
13.
13.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
13 and verse
21, I believe.
Yes.
21.
Lord.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
What he gonna do?
I will lay hands on you.
What we gonna do if you come on this show with foolishness?
I will lay hands on you.
Give me my bite, man. That's what we gonna do to you.
Yes, sir.
All praise to the Most High.
All right. Hey, shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless. Enjoy y'all evening. Have a great rest of y'all week. And happy Sabbath when it comes. Lord's
Yeah,
willing.
yeah, yeah,
All right?
yeah.
Hey, Cap.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay, we gotta do the
Yo, man. Why they keep playing with the team? I don't know, man. They ain't know that we dream team? I guess not. Yo, stop playing.
My bedtime right now.
My whip be a horse, no Rari. I'm switching the lanes, no Tory.
Hey.
Just coming safari. I'm inside, look at the car. My eyes don't bow before me. And it's gonna be gory. Road dogs pulled up with a big strap. Real killers won't call like sorry. Me and BZ know we go way back. Way the basement whipping the payback slap. At the pick of my sins, though.